This is how Shane Gillis' new TV show just surprised everyone.
Women are a totally untapped market.
For now, dude. We're about to tap them.
We're going to corner the market for women.
We got a corner.
No.
With it being just around the 2-week mark since Tires by Shane Gillis dropped on Netflix, it has since been the talk of the town and caught the eyes of many comedy fans. There's been a plethora of dialogue around the TV show consisting of mostly positive reviews sprinkled with a couple negative reviews also. I watched the entire series for myself very recently, and all I will say is that it surprised me a lot. If you'd like to know how Shane's new TV show Tires surprised people, some of the information about the release of Season 1 and what we know about the second season, and my personal review of the TV show and what stood out to me the most, then you've come to the right place. I'll be discussing all of this in today's video, so let's hop right into it. Tires was released on Netflix May 23rd, 2024. To begin with, I thought it was absolutely insane that Tires was funded entirely by Shane Gillis himself, and that he had absolutely no corporate backing monetarily. It would appear that after Shane's successful comedy special Beautiful Dogs, Netflix has basically slurped the Shane Gillis Kool-Aid and given him full creative control to do whatever the hell he wanted on this TV show. It makes sense when you consider the fact that for the show, Shane had John McKeever and Steve Gerben help him write the entire plot of it, while also featuring notable people from previous Gillian Keeves sketches as frontrunners for the show like Kyla Fox and Chris O'Connor. This basically means that when it came to delivering the show to the audience, Shane had a home field advantage by using everyone he could have possibly wanted to for this project. If you don't know, originally Tires was just a video on YouTube that was meant to be another outlet of comedy for Shane and his crew. However, only the pilot would be available to watch, and it never went further than that until Netflix bought the show from him later on. Another thing that surprised me about this show was the fact that when I went to watch it on Netflix, it was ranked in the #1 spot for several days, and also the day before the show aired, there had been several announcements that Season 2 had already been cleared and given the green light for production. Apparently the show was very successful because it had a killer first week in the ratings, receiving just south of 4 million views. To top it all off, the press would have an absolute field day talking about Tires and Shane Gillis, which seems to be a recurring trend given Shane's massive stature and notoriety he's acclaimed over the last 5 years since he was fired from Saturday Night Live. One article I saw gave Shane the biggest compliment possible by comparing Tires to Seinfeld by saying how they're both, quote, shows about nothing, end quote. After all, an entertaining show about nothing is what most people want to watch anyway. Most people don't want to be fucking hassled and browbeaten about politics or the message when they get home from a long day at work. So watching Shane Gillis flirt with women in bikinis at a tire shop honestly sounds like a massive W to me. Of course, we got an article from the Daily Beast, which is the home of everyone's favorite spoken bird poet Seth Simons, where they called Tires anti-woke and infuriatingly unfunny. The article was written by this guy named Jesse Hassinger, who looks like he doesn't own a doghouse. In fact, he looks like he sold his doghouse so he could afford a night in Vegas with his boyfriend Seth Simons. Besides all that gayness, the reviews of Tires are for the most part very good, with a handful of people who did not appreciate the raunchy humor that the show demonstrated. When you read individual reviews for the show, the general consensus and takeaway I got was that if you're a fan of Shane's style of humor, there's a pretty good chance you'll end up enjoying the show. Unless you're like this Shannon woman who definitely doesn't seem like Shane's target demographic. On the surface, it would appear that the show was a huge success. With Shane set to record a new Netflix special and a second season of Tires, it would seem that the dogs are eating very well. But you know who else is eating well? Anyone who's subscribed to today's video sponsor, HelloFresh. HelloFresh is an online meal service that makes eating healthy and nutritious meals easier than ever before. The meal selections are incredibly vast and will keep a variety in your diet while you still get to enjoy healthy and wholesome foods. You can also customize the amount of meals you want, the type of diet you adhere to, and the number of people you're planning on feeding to tailor your subscription to your lifestyle, and all of it is delivered right to your door. In a world of unhealthy foods and habits, HelloFresh makes it easier than ever to eat clean whole foods that will allow you to operate at your very best each and every day. It wasn't until I signed up for HelloFresh that my wife, who left me for the mailman, came back to my life. I'm kidding, guys. I don't have a wife, but with HelloFresh's healthy meal prepped options, I'll get a body that that will allow me to find a wife and then cheat on her. If you want to cheat on your wife or you really just want to enjoy some great meals, then check out HelloFresh.com and use code POGHF137129 to receive 10 free meals and free dessert for life with an active subscription, or click the link in the pinned comment or the description below to be taken directly to the website. Thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Now that I've told you some of the huge news surrounding the show, I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts after watching the full first season twice and making notes along the way. First of all, I thought the pacing and cast of the show was excellent. The episodes are around 20 minutes long, maybe a little more, which keeps them from dragging and allows the crew to be as compendious as possible with the storyline. Also, I thought the cast was absolutely splendid and thought everyone brought something special to the table. Shane was fantastic and basically got to be exactly who he is in real life, with the goofy bully type jokes towards Will all the time, and also being able to be serious when the plot needs it. He also pushes and pulls Will exceptionally well, which allows us to get a better idea as to who Will's character is. The duo of Andrew Scholes and Tommy Pope as two horny Italian car salesmen adds a lot of goofiness and raunchiness to the storyline in several parts. I think Andrew playing the role of an Italian was perfect since he looks like Waluigi to begin with, and as an Italian I felt like he and Tommy nailed the impression of our people quite well. I wish he would change the haircut, but it is what it is, I suppose. I was also very impressed with Stavros Halkias' performance as Dave in this movie. I know he mainly just plays a big fat guy who likes to eat and tells Will what to do, but the acting chops and pork chops this guy had in his belly were fantastic. I also love the smaller roles that Kyla and Chris played in the show, and I really wish we could have gotten to see more of Kyla because something about her is just so goofy on screen. We also got to see cameos from the shaman Matt McCusker and comedian Tim Butterly. The plot was also very impressive and didn't try to accomplish more than it needed to. Without spoiling the plot, I'm going to tell you just a few parts that stood out to me from a few of the episodes. In episode 1, Shane has a super funny dynamic with a journalist, and it makes for a pretty spectacular pilot of the show. Then in episode 2, it was nice to see Francis Ellis make an appearance. I always thought him and Shane were funny together ever since they had Shane on their podcast, Oops, many years ago, where Shane had broken the story of his SNL firing for one of the first times. The comedy and jokes throughout the show were also, for the most part, pretty funny. Not every joke is a killer, some of them are even corny, but the lighthearted nature of the show allows for the really funny moments to make you forget about the few dull moments that exist. The production is also insanely high quality. I swear it looks like you're watching a video from Matt D'Avella because the lens output is so crispy on screen. When you compare the pilot that was originally on YouTube years ago to what we got on Netflix, you can tell that Shane really stepped up the production and brought in a really good team to provide a clean and minimalistic style to shoot this show. I really enjoyed the show a lot, but some of the criticisms I have are very small and could probably be fixed in the next season. For example, I felt like the history between Will and his dad, who owns the shop, could have had a touch more explanation. I understand they're probably saving a lot of that exposition for season 2, but I think just a few more breadcrumbs could have made the conclusion to season 1 just a little more complete. I also think the way the show resolves is a little bit too convenient, but these are all pretty small corrections that really don't take away from the show's quality at all. After all, it's just a goofy sitcom that you can watch with the boys over a few brewskis. In conclusion, I thought the show was a massive success, and I'm looking forward to season 2, which is set to take place in 2025. Anyway, what did you think about Tires? Have you watched it yet? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you excited for season 2? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I also have some bonus content on my Patreon if you want to check that out. But all in all, this was how Shane Gillis' new TV show just surprised everyone.
So technically, I'm a Division I football player that is a decorated veteran and was cast on Saturday Night Live. And I didn't do one of those things. But that is my resume, technically.